Woolpower has its factory in Östersund, which is about 100 kilometers away from me. But they also have an outlet in On, which was closed due to COVID, but they opened it up a while ago. So I went there and stacked myself up again. Super cheap prices, good stuff, but does it actually hold up? So let's start with the first layer, or if you're thinking about summer jogging or whatever, running, the light wool. 80-20, 80 merino wool, 20 polyester. It is a normal weaving, which means that it's not the frotte version, which is the 200, 400 and 600 versions. But it has a lot of flexibility in it actually. The problem that usually comes with having too much merino wool in it is that they're wearing out quite quickly. So this one here is actually 3 years old, and I'm wearing it both in the winter and also in the summertime. So you have wear patterns here and obviously on the knees, especially when you're working in constructions or whatever, when you're quite often on your knees and whatnot. The knees are the ones that are usually getting pretty beaten up because you wear the pads over it, the jeans, or the pants are like a little bit tighter around that area, so the wear pattern there and it is much higher. It's the same for me when I'm wearing my winter gear, same problem there. So that is a common problem. Same around the crotch area. Hey buddy, huh? And if he wants to join. So I don't have a top at the moment, but it's fabric-wise, it's the same, I personally like the light wool quite much because it is fairly durable compared to some other manufacturers where it wears down much quicker. So the 200 has the 60-40 mix, which is a little bit more polyester, but it's the first one in that lineup with frotte, with that wool frotte, that they always advertise, which is what Woolpower is known for pretty much. Durability is a little bit so-so. I really like the tops. I don't like the long johns because I usually wear quite much in this area. At least that is my experience. Other people might, have different experiences, but for me that doesn't really work that well. However, since there is a quite high polyester part in it, and also the wool frotte is designed to trap air in there, it is not really recommended for high energy things, meaning that when you wear it straight on your skin, you will immediately notice that it is hot as hell and the air doesn't really go out that well. It doesn't really ventilate that well compared to when you wear other fabrics that are a little bit more meant for higher activity, or just in general are a little bit differently designed, because the wool frotte itself, since also due to the fact that there is a higher polyester content in there, has a little bit it doesn't really breathe that well. It feels a little bit more like a fleece layer, if you know what I mean. That is at least my experience. So usually when I'm going out, I wear first layer like the Woolpower light, then wool frotte over it. If I only wear the wool frotte straight on the skin, you will immediately feel it is way warmer, but you also feel it feels less breathable, if you know what I mean. So take that a little bit with a grain of salt. Otherwise, socks, I'm trying those out because I'm not a fan of frotte socks. I usually, especially in the winter time, I'm using real solid, thick as wool socks. Those ones here, they have the tendency, you know, when they get wet and everything, it's the warmth is not really that well. You know, like because the frotte is getting compressed and it doesn't really have any warmth. At least that's my experience. Those are actually, all of this is actually the military version. One of the reasons, or how you can see it, is by this zipper here. The ordinary version is has a metal buckle here, always. So the military version is a little bit dialed down. They have some other quirks a little bit. Apparently, I have to check it up actually. Apparently it's only the military versions who actually have those loops. Personally, I'm not a big fan of it actually. Partially because they wear down quite quickly, at least for me. You know, I often have them like this, you know, and then like you start doing shit and they're rubbing off and they just wear out relatively quickly. But that is, you know, a little bit, depends a lot on the people who's wearing it, you know. So now to our middle layers, which is the 400 and the 600. This is the 400 vest. Be aware, this one usually comes in a little bit big size. This is a medium. I think that is a little bit too big. But regardless of that, I actually like it. Don't really wear it so often. It's a 70-30 mix. By the way, it's a 70-28 and then 2% elastane, to be honest, but who's counting? Both the 400 and 600 are made with the same 70-30 mixture, but are a little bit different in that the 400 is a little bit more applicable to the 200 in the way the frotte works, kind of. It is super warm, quite flexible, the same as the 200, and also the light version in itself. They all stretch quite well actually. The pants itself is a little bit, it feels a little bit more durable, but to be honest, the 400 I haven't really tested that much in the way it's gonna last, but most likely it's gonna be the same problem as with the 200. It's not gonna last super long, but it gives you a lot of warmth. Due to the fact that it is flexing and that it traps quite a lot of air in it. So generally speaking, I actually like the 400 quite much for giving warmth. The 600, however, is a little bit of a different thing. The 600 is a little bit more dense. It's, you know, like from the thickness, it's pretty much the same as the 400. It's just way more dense and way heavier. It's only the zipper jacket. I think they changed it. I think they used to have it also as pants and whatnot. I don't know why they went away with it, but anyway, it's really good. So I actually like this jacket quite a bit, but when it comes to giving warmth and whatnot, it's not up to par with a DeWalt sweater, you know, the nonsense sweater or what have you. That one, for a lower price, you get way more out of it. You know, like the typical Norwegian sweaters, they are really durable, they last a long time. Nippy, do you really not need to do that now? He's chewing on a bone. Well, same thing here with the 600. You have the loop-de-loos. This is actually the regular version, hence the metal buckle, the same with the vest. The pants, I honestly don't know. I think this is also just the normal version because everything else should be green. But regardless of that, I actually do like it. There is a really awesome thing on Woolpower in general. They're really long in the back, and that is something that doesn't really come much, if any, in any other company. So what I mean with that is that you actually have the possibility to really, like, you know, go down a little bit, go up you know, like you can stretch and whatnot, and the fabric is not like exposing your skin in any shape or form, which is often the problem with other companies, that you have to buy shit that is horrendously big just to be able to protect yourself properly, if that makes any sense. So for that, I really like Woolpower. There's, however, the durability factor, but other companies are not really that much better. It is expensive, however, which basically comes down to the fact that it is produced in Sweden, and thus makes the production way more expensive than in any other cases, you know. So let's compare a little bit. The Woolpower Light, it's a little bit hard to say what it is. It's somewhere between 120 and 200 grams, because Woolpower doesn't really specify it. This is a Klima's 200 version. The wool net, that's the hiking wool actually, but it's about the same. Which this one is at about 200, I think, from the feel of it. And this is the 120 version of a Klima. And this is from DeWalt. I'm not 100% sure. It's something, I think it was 150, because they didn't have a 120 version as far as I remember. What's up, Nippy boy, huh? Nippy is ruining the take. So each company has a little bit of a different method in terms of what kind of weaving they use. I really like the DeWalt. It is quite flexible, has a high merino wool content. I think it's even pure. I'm not 100% sure, though I will link it below, the differences, but it flexes quite well. And it, you know, you see a little bit of a wear pattern here, but I have this one for a really long time, and it really does hold up. No loop-de-loos here or anything, just straight. Works really well. However, since it is quite densely woven, you start to smell quite a bit under the armpits. At least that's my experience. The 120 from a Klima, in general 120 is really hard. This one here is really falling apart, has holes left and right. It feels very nice on the skin, but pure merino wool is always a hard baggage to carry, so this one here is really falling apart. The wool net, although like especially on top, holds up really well. The advantage is if you wear something windproof over it, it really traps in the heat quite well. But if you want to get rid of it, you just open it up and you cool down pretty fast. The 200, same issue as with the 120. You see here, as soon as you hit a branch, or you know, like the dog, you know, the dogs get a little bit on it, even if you wear something over it, it really starts to fall apart. And I don't wash my stuff in a washing machine because I don't have any. So this is really falling apart. Also on the arms. Granted, I wear it pretty heavily, but still, it really gets a beating. And the majority of those things is because it is pure merino wool, and it's quite densely woven. So the fabric actually, even though it looks like it's stretching quite well, it really doesn't hold up that well. It gets a beating quite easily. The Woolpower Light, as I said before, stretches quite well. It looks like it's way less, you know, like the material is less, and it should get destroyed much easier, but it seems to be, since it is flexing quite well, it actually holds up a little bit better than some other fabrics. I used to have icebreaker as well. I went away from it pretty fast because the way it's woven, it's the same problem with some of the more dense woven stuff from a Klima, and so it wears out relatively quickly. If you wear a backpack or whatever on the shoulders, it's gonna get fucked pretty easily. So it always depends a little bit on what you're wearing it for. I still love a Klima, I wear it all the time, you know. But it's always a question of money, you know, like if a fabric doesn't really hold up when you wear it heavily and it's really expensive, then you have to think about it a little bit. In my case, I get shit relatively cheap, not because I'm reviewing it, just because I have friends in the right places. I tend to get stuff a little bit cheaper, so take that with a grain of salt. So that's why Woolpower, when I'm going to the outlet, that is amazing, you know, for the price. It's also a local company for me, so that's why I'm tending to go for those guys, you know, in specific situations. When it comes to higher activity and whatnot, I wouldn't go for Woolpower really, except of the light version. It is trapping too much heat. The polyester part is too high. I would always prefer a more merino wool. It's breathing way better. So then Aclima is really the better choice, or DeWalt for that matter. All those companies are Scandinavian companies, so they know what they're doing really. Now the thick of it. The Woolpower 400, as I said before, frotte frotte. The 600 is much more dense, quite heavy in the material. The 400 much more fluffy, you know. You can move in it a little bit better and whatnot, you know. But in particular for the 600, if you thinking about getting it, the jacket is about 1,900 kroners or 190 euros. You get a DeWalt sweater for the similar price or even cheaper. It depends a little bit on what you want, but this one is the Nansen with the collar. I love it. This one, as I said in the video before, this is in double XL, and there's a spider on it. I shrunk that one down to get a little bit more, get it more dense, you know. This is really dense now, really warm. As you can see, I wear it quite a bit. And it is tremendously much warmer than the 600. So if you want the most warmth out of your system, don't go for the 600 really, because it is bloody expensive. And this one is pure wool. Of course, this is merino wool polyester mix, but still, like this, if you don't have you know, problems with itching and whatnot, the DeWalt sweater is actually the better choice. Otherwise, the 400 might actually be for getting warmth and whatnot, might be a really good option for you. What DeWalt doesn't have is a long collar and a long system in the back for having a little bit more warmth, you know, on your ass basically. So it is a little bit shorter, so have that in mind. It's usually the majority of people run around in those ones not like this way, just a normal Norwegian version, and just having it in a size bigger or 2 sizes bigger or what have you, you know. So I personally prefer it a little bit more snug, feels much nicer without compromising movement and whatnot, obviously, but having it this way, because then I can just wear it outside without any wind problems or anything. So